Unarmus Sportswear. Sponsors of Drop the Puck.
We're back at the den for this laidler conference battle between the Dragons and the Widnes Wild, Ben.
Yeah, 1 versus 7th, Gary. Laidler champions, the Wild already, being crowned. And it's going to be interesting to see whether, they're going to put on an exhibition game or the Dragons are going to give them a run for their money.
Well, we love a local derby, and this one's got to be one of the best. It's always on the calendar. We circle it off. And I think this is certainly going to be one of them games we're going to see a lot of action and hopefully some dropped gloves.
Dare I say it, Gary? Get the napkins. It's going to be a tasty one.
I think it is. But like Ben's already said, Widnes have already been crowned the champions of the Laidler Conference, and they're looking to sort of get themselves in the right frame of mind for the playoffs. Will they take it easy, do you think? Or will the Dragons go out and blazing and try and get some points and prove a point with them?
Well, that's it. I think the Dragons are going to try and prove a point. I think it's more what they're going to try and do. The points on the leaderboard don't matter anymore. It's playing for pride. And in this aged derby, which has been going on for many a season now, I think, the Dragons are going to want to try and prove a point and knock a little chip off the Wild.
Well, let's get right down to it, Ben. Who should we be watching out for in tonight's game?
So, Dragons, I think number one you got to look out for is Matt Wainwright. Matt's been a key part of the defensive unit of the Dragons all season. But the thing is, he's a hybrid skater. Give him some open ice, and that guy can move. He's got good legs for a big man. On top of which, as well, he's got great stick skill as well. And you'll see that. And he exploits the opportunities. I think the other guy you got to keep an eye on as well is Alex Parry. He's a bit like the bridesmaid, never the bride. He can always get on the assist, or he's always picking up the rebounds, but he doesn't make the big play. But the big thing about Alex as well is he's not afraid to get involved for his team. So I've kind of fancy, either Parry or Jones or someone to drop the gloves tonight.
What about the Wild? Who should we be looking out for, or should we actually have to say?
Well, I'm not even going to mention that first line, to be honest. Apart from, admittedly, Jakob Hajak, who has slotted right in that Nick Manning role to support Barron and Brittle so well. And he's so fast as well. It's like watching Pavlicek or Palak or Shaw all over again. And I think you've got to keep an eye on him.
I think, like you say, he has slotted in there. That chemistry between Barron and Brittle and Hajak seems to just be working so well. It's put the points on the board, and I think it's got them where they are.
Yeah, very much so. But you don't just get there on one line, and you got to look back to the that Widnes second line as well. And the star guy there for me is Mike Gilbert. Gilbert's just been chipping away all season, assists there, goals there. He's also played a very clean season as well. Not many penalty points to his name, but I think he skates with a lot of heart and passion, and that's what matters on the ice.
Well, talking of the ice, I think it's going to get heated. Hopefully it doesn't melt too much. And I think it's time to get down to that ice side with our commentary team of.
Well, that would be myself and George Perrott.
So without further ado, it's time to
drop the puck.
Cheers for that, Gary. I'm, of course, George. You're alongside me with this one. George Perrott, it's been a while since you've been here.
Yeah. Glad to be back. Thanks for having me.
And we've got a tasty barnstormer here, as we quite rightly said. You've got the D-side Dragons, you've got the Widnes Wild, the league champs versus playing for pride, the local derby that we love. What's going on?
Well, the Dragons have had a mixed season, I suppose, and only last week Wild were crowned champions, but I think this will still be a fierce encounter. There's a history between these two teams, and neither one will want to lose the game. So, yeah, looking forward to a hot one.
Well, they've got nothing to lose now in regards to penalties. The league's there, so will we see some lead gloves from Widnes? Will the Dragons suffer from second period syndrome? So it's going to be an interesting one, and if I'm quite honest, I've had this one marked on the calendar with the bid rate circle for a while.
And let's not forget that whatever happens here, we'll have a follow-up next week in Widnes. So
this, of course, the first of the double header.
Yeah.
As you see the starting lines taking to the ice now, and as expected, that first line of Hayek, Brittle and Barron straight on the ice for the Wild. Looks like they're going to try and do some damage early. And that first line of the Dragons as well of Keating, Parsons and Furnival. So we get ready to drop this one, George?
Yep, Brittle and Parsons on the face-off. And we're off with the Dragons winning the face-off and Wainwright going back to collect. Forecheck there from Barron, but the outlet pass from Wainwright escaped Keating. And now it's Fay for the Wild, who goes back and reverses to Offord, the Wild captain. He's knocked one down deep, a rolling puck for Hajek to chase. Hajek gets it in deep behind the Dragons' net, and it's loose up at the point. Keating for the Dragons plays a weak one across the top of the zone, and Furnival struggles against a couple of players there for the Wild, unable to keep control of it. Now Barron, turning back in his own zone, has put the puck towards Parsons. Parsons tried to pass inside, but that was intercepted. And now Parsons slings it back behind the Wild net for Offord to collect on the far boards. His pass is loose. And now the Wild coming through centre with Fay. Fay will dump it in and get his change. And this is Wainwright, I believe, for the Dragons. And we've got a call here.
Yeah, call early. But I must admit, immediately, what a surprise. Furnival's heading straight to box.
Well, would you know it? I didn't see exactly what that was about, but Dragons have started the game off short-handed, only a minute and 7 seconds into the game.
Well, doesn't surprise me, to be honest, George, the way they've been acting this season.
They've got Bez Hughes, Danny Bullock and Kemp out. Kemp looks like he's playing as a forward on this power play line. Perhaps
number 23.
The net front present, perhaps, if net front presence, if they can get set up. Now, Gilbert's pass is intercepted by Parry. Parry takes an angled shot onto Wilson, the Wild netminder, and now Shaw goes back and collects it behind the net and throws it up to the point where Perks has kept it in. Shaw bats it back down behind the Wild net, so good start to this penalty kill for the Dragons. Wild not yet able to get control. Now Parry's battled the puck clear. Oh, and he just lost it in his skates as he got a shooting opportunity. And it looks like the numbers are going to be levelled up here as we've got a hooking call. Parry did well to create that. He battled to win the puck, took it to the net, and left Jackson no choice but to impede him.
Oh, 4-on-4 hockey, George.
Yeah, 4-on-4, lots of space. Face-off is in the Wild zone. And it's Parsons and Brittle on the draw, with Hajek out the other forward for the Wild and Chappell out for the Dragons. Offord has reversed it for Fay. Fay steps out, finds space where he can return it to Offord, and now Offord carries over the blue line for the Dragons. And we've gone offside, have we?
It appears so. Quickly picking up there, George, and what you were saying, netminder there tonight, starting between the pipes there, is going to be Luke Wilson for the Wild. Wilson, 87.16% save average coming into this game. His counterpart on the opposite side, Don Jolly, 85.3% save average. Going to be an interesting night for them.
Yep, the numbers look fairly close. Now, the Wild in their own zone, looking to come out, which they do with Brittle. Brittle taps one back to Fay, and they regroup cross ice for Offord. And now Hajek coming through centre, manages to evade Chappell, takes a slap shot which is well wide of the net, comes all the way out as far as Offord, but now Brittle slows in the neutral, comes up through the neutral zone, plays a nice pass for Hajek, but he couldn't quite corral it.
25 seconds remain on the Dragons penalty there.
Yeah, oh, now there's a mistake there from Marples, who tried to lift one through the zone but didn't quite get enough on it. Now there's a shot from Chris Jones, saved by Wilson. That's his first stop of the game. And the Wild throw it all the way down to Jolly.
3,
yep.
2, 1. That penalty expires. Trapdoor opens and on back to the ice.
Furnival's out, and it's now the Wild who are short-handed. As Barron returns it to Kemp. Goes across to Bez Hughes. Bez Hughes hits one in from distance, which is gloved by Jolly and dropped for Wainwright to collect. Wainwright's being chased. He reversed it. And this is Billy Perks. Dragons looking to set something up here. Billy Perks passes up to Wainwright at the blue line. Wainwright now coming through centre. Goes onto his backhand, cuts inside.
Great shot.
Yeah, tried to lift it over the blocker of Wilson, but couldn't quite get it up. Now here's Perks. Perks dropping for Shaw. His shot was blocked.
2-1 and the back to...
Wild don't clear, but they have killed the penalty.
Yeah,
and that was a good shot with a high rebound from Wilson. Bez Hughes collects it, throws it up, but Austin's there to stop it for the Dragons. And now Jackson has managed to block Austin's shot, which clears the zone.
Neither team taking advantage of the odd man there, George.
Now we have Parsons trying to battle a loose puck, which he's managed to do. It come to Austin, but it escaped Austin, and Kemp knocks a long one in, which is gloved aside by Jolly. And the Dragons now coming out of their zone. Wainwright tried to bat a high one in, but that was gloved down by Cooper. And now he and Moore will go to work trying to recover the puck against Wainwright. And Cy Offord dumps the puck in for Widnes. And the Dragons' outlet pass is high-sticked. So we will have a neutral zone face-off, I would imagine.
Very much so. And just picking up there, it looks like Offord early on is teaming up with Kemp when that third line of Widnes is out, just to give the bit more support.
So they've got 5 defensemen, have they? 6 defensemen out.
Well, if you know...
Offord's doubling up, yeah.
Which is interesting, because it is a light bench for Widnes, considering to what they can usually bring. They are missing key men.
Now, Furnival has got a loose one here. Wilson came out and cleared it. And Mike Moore is intercepted for the Wild. It's Parsons wearing a face cage today.
Yeah, we did
plays
notice.
A puck up to centre. Yeah, it looks like he had a black eye, I think.
Injury
Furnival plays one across to Parsons. Parsons' shot was high. And now Furnival knocks one all the way back down to Offord. Offord's hurt in the corner here. I'm not sure what's happened. Of course, this is the thing that Widnes will obviously dread more than anything, is getting key players injured. Didn't quite see what happened.
And we should have a quick
Just
look
like to
at
take a big opportunity to
the shot there from the Dragons. Good effort early on.
Thank you very much.
Dragons bringing the pressure early. Widnes not being able to just skate the game the way they want. As Offord is back up now and just making his way to his bench.
Yeah, well...
And as you quite rightly said, George, they can't really afford many injuries. Obviously, playoff hockey is in the pipeline for them, but they've got no Novak tonight, no Dipnell, no Jordan.
Yeah. And no sooner had you pointed out that he was double shifting, or what looked like he was double shifting, he's now hurt himself.
There's a big hit going in on Barron.
Barron has been hit in the corner, and a shot from Jones.
Oh, sure! And we've gone! Well, Barron wasn't happy with that.
Got some aggression here now. Who's this? This is Shaw, is it?
It looks like Shaw and Barron.
Tipped over by Barron. Yeah, that's Barron.
And there was a cross-check came into the back initially that started all that off. After he took the hit on the board. Chappell and Kemp. A little bit of afters there. And this is the fireworks we were hoping for with this derby game.
It was Parry. It was Parry, not Shaw, I think.
And Parry and Barron.
Yeah.
Not over yet.
Yeah, Parry's
not
happy.
I'm surprised to see Barron react the way he did. Parry, maybe not so. As the number 7s come to blows.
Fighting start here.
Well, we can see that again. The initial hit came in on Barron against those boards. It came back out in front of the net. There was the cross-check that kicked the initiation off. And then the gloves dropped. Immediately, though, it was over. Good tilt, lads, but now we can see there Mr. Suster's having a word with Parsons and Kemp. And so it's going to be interesting to see what happens now.
Well, Parsons just flashed 5 fingers at the Dragons bench, so are they going to get a power play out of this?
Well,
because I don't think there was a penalty on the play in the corner. Didn't seem to be a penalty on the play in the corner, so looks like BASN may have got some extra minutes here. Yeah, they've just gone up on the board.
Okay.
So 2-minute power play here, I think, for the Dragons.
Well, we'll await official confirmation from the match day officials shortly. And you can see Armstrong coming to the bench.
Armstrong's going to sit the extra. So I would imagine if this is a 2 plus 10, then it'll be Armstrong sitting the 2.
Well, will it be a cross-check? Or will it be instigation? It'll be interesting to see. But either way, Dragons on the power play with 15:34 gone in this first period.
Just like old times, eh?
Just like old times.
Now it's Wainwright.
Penalty, number 7, Ollie Barron, 2-minute minor penalty for cross-checking.
And it's a cross-checking on...
Yes! Oh, no. Do beg your pardon, he hit the side netting. It was Wainwright from a tight angle. Saw the bottle pop up, I thought he'd scored.
Penalty.
And now he might. Oh, he's missed the net, Wainwright. Great chance. Dragons looking fairly well composed here on this power play. Wainwright up top to Parsons. Parsons got Chris Jones. Chris Jones looking to shoot, is he? Yep. That one wide. Now Wainwright again, up at the point. Goes low to Chappell at the half boards. Chappell backhands one in loose, but that was nearly intercepted by Fay. And now Wainwright struggling to get it through, and he has. Well, that was blocked in front. Brittle now looking to clear for... he got it on the tape of Hajek, but it just, as soon as it was on the tape, it was off the tape. And Jolly has to swing it round for Chris Jones to collect. Chris Jones knocked it back dangerously where Brittle was chasing. And now Wainwright has knocked it back dangerously. So Brittle backhands for Hajek, and good stick check there from Keating. Good back check.
Dragons in dangerous play out front there.
Yeah, great chances at both ends. So Furnival now, for this second unit, taps it up to Shaw, and Shaw was falling, but he managed to get a shot on the ice wide of the net. Austin now, cross-ice pass at the Dragons' blue line to Jones, and back to Austin, looking to build from deep. Austin up to Shaw. Shaw collects on the backhand, plays inside to Keating. Keating can't get it on his forehand for a shot, and tries to centre it, but that's intercepted by Bullock. However, now it's up at the point with Jones, and Bullock blocked that one. And now it's Shaw for the Dragons behind the Wild net.
10 seconds
10 seconds remaining, yeah. Ryan Jones knocks it back down into the corner. Jackson collects for the Wild. This penalty shortly over, and the pass up to centre is collected by Gilbert. Gilbert takes it wide, tries a move, he's lost it. Austin, bit of space.
Back to full strength.
But he's on his own as the Dragons are changing, and he can do nothing but get it back deep into the zone. Now Parsons and Gilbert going against each other. Parsons gets the better of that. And the pass
that was dangerous.
Was behind Parsons. Thankfully Jolly was awake and was able to stop that.
Well, neither team able to capitalise so far on the special teams time on the ice, but Dragons having 2 power plays at the moment. So just to confirm, it's a 2+2 on Parry for fighting and a 2+2 on Barron for fighting, +2 for the cross check as well.
Right, okay. So those lads have got a little bit longer in the box, and they'll be popping out at the same time, conveniently.
Which will be interesting.
Now, Bez Hughes' turning shot for the Wild is wide of the Dragons' net. And now Chappell comes up his wing, finds Shaw. Shaw's bodied by Cooper, but found Parsons.
Wilson, what a save, Wilson there.
Parsons shot high on Wilson, and he gathered it. Good chances for the Dragons so far.
Yeah, but again, it's the same old skaters causing the Wild problems. You know, your Parsons, your Shaw, your Furnival. If they're going to be able to keep themselves in the game tonight, they'll just close those guys out. And we know Widnes have got the ability to do that.
Now, one's just popped out in front of the Widnes goal, but thankfully there were no Dragons there. And this is Marples for the Dragons behind his own net, but he's lost the puck. And Moore is battling it loose for the Wild, but the Dragons come away with it. Chappell, great cross ice pass, but offside.
Humphreys there, great vision and awareness to try and find Shaw on that overlap there. But you can see already Tensions are not anywhere near over. It's just bubbling below the surface. 8:29 gone in this first period. Still Dragons 0, Widnes 0. And so far the Dragons not making it easy for the Wild.
Now Brittle and Parsons on the draw. Have they found the face-off spot? I think they have. There it is, and Parsons ties up Brittle for Keating to come in and recover the puck. He plays it up to Furnable, but that came loose. And Gilbert had to play himself onside. And now Brittle to Gilbert. They're loose to Hajek. Oh, blocked by Wainwright. Good play. Good defensive play there to stay in the passing lane.
Looks like Gilbert's taken the slot of Barron there.
Yeah. Jackson's shot from the points, kicked into the corner by Jolly, but there waits Brittle. Puts a move on Parsons and goes behind the Dragons' net. Still got it. This time he's up with Keating at the wing. Now he's loose from the half-boards. Plays it inside to Gilbert. Gilbert played it back, looking for Barron, but it was behind him. Beg your pardon, Brittle. And now shot from distance, scores! What a finish.
What a goal, James Parsons.
Yes.
Well, Parsons picks it up just inside his own zone, skated it through neutral ice, gets inside the blue line, picks his spot, lovely little wrist shot, top shelf on Wilson, 1-0 Dragons. Could this be an upset on the cards tonight for Widnes? It'll be interesting to see. Are they playing too complacent? Inviting the pressure on from the Dragons. 9 minutes 14 gone in the first.
Humphreys, Austin and Chappell at the restart for the Dragons. And Ryan Jones, the defenseman, swings it in behind the Widnes net.
First assist, number 13.
Where the Wild try and recover with Bullock. Bullock stepping out through centre, gains the blue line. Thought about reversing it to Gilbert, but then went wide. And he still got Gilbert. Oh, and he found Gilbert, but they didn't quite manage to get a shot away. Now Fay turns around from his man for the Wild. Turns again, and he's threw one on net there for Gilbert. Gilbert had a jam play against Jolly, but Jolly was solid to his post. And now Chappell trying to clear the puck. But they only get it up as far as offered. And we've got another call here. And that is a cross-check. And it's former Dragon Bez Hughes making the journey to the bench. So, yeah. The league champions on the ropes a little here. They have conceded first, and they have taken a couple of penalties and been short.
Yeah, it's something that we noticed all season, and myself and Gary spoke about, was how disciplined Widnes were, and they were keeping guys on the ice, and that's how they were doing the damage. Maybe in their head, the off-season hockey's already started. Yeah.
Well, certainly in the circumstances, they're not going to take kindly to any to it being run, basically, are they? Their main objective, surely, you've got to be to avoid any injury. Oh, great play. Hadjick's hit the post, and the rebound there for Barron. Just as we say, they're on the ropes. They're back off the ropes. They're swinging, and they've connected.
Yeah, early sucker punch to get them back in this game, as we saw there. Hadjick bursting down on net, puts a shot on Jolly. It comes out between him post and Jolly, leaves an open goal, inviting on a platter there for Barron. Barron does his talking on the ice and gets one back. 1-1 with 10:13 gone. George, we've got ourselves a game.
Yeah. Short-handed goal. And still short-handed, and it's still Barron and Hadjick. And Hadjick recovers a puck, but is hit by Ryan Jones. And now the Dragons come back with Parry. Parry going across the face of Kemp. Kemp managed to poke it away. Parry recovers it, but he's now bodied by Barron. Parry getting the puck out from his feet. Plays it up to Austin at the point. Austin shoots. That took a deflection in front. And now Ryan Jones shoots through, and that's kicked away by Wilson. Parry now. Dragons not struggling to generate shots on their power plays. And a loose puck there gobbled up by Wilson. And we're going to have a face-off in the Wild End.
Well, the cobwebs on Wilson starting to show. We know he's a young lad anyway. He's had plenty of experience this season, 17 games under his belt. At the 109 shots he'd faced coming in, he'd only had 14 goals in. But he's seen a lot of shots coming in, a lot of pressure from this Dragon side.
Now, Ryan Jones in the neutral zone. Plays across to his defence partner, Austin. Austin tried to bank one off the boards for Chappell, but there wasn't enough on it, and it's collected by Brittle. Brittle plays to Fay for the Wild. Fail cross ice to Offord. Offord throws it all the way back behind the Dragons' net, but Dom Jolly's made a nice quick play to get the Dragons back on the attack quickly, and then Chappell has knocked it right down into the zone for Shaw to battle for it. Now Chappell comes in to support, and the puck pops loose, but it's Brittle who is there to receive it, and Ryan Jones got to be careful though not to interfere with Gilbert, who's forechecking on this Wild short-handed unit. Now Parry carrying through neutral, got it lost in his feet, and now he's on the backhand. Oh, huge hit by Bullock on Parry. There's your revenge for the good, but a great chance immediately after by Ryan Jones, who played a good play to the net where there was a stick in the zone, and a long shot from Wainwright, gloved by Wilson. Yeah, a little message there for Alex Parry.
Yeah, certainly, you know, it's going to it's going to be an interesting one, just in the sense of it's that derby game, this age-old rivalry of Widnes and Deeside goes back as long as I can remember, George.
Yeah. And it looks like they've taken a number tonight, and that number may be the number 7. So let's have a look and see how this plays out. Now, at the moment, it's Jackson battling for the Wild, who are looking to get it out, and they only get it as far as Wainwright. We're back to 5-on-5 here, of course, and Parsons' shot saved by Wilson. And once again, the face-off is in the Wild's end, which is a pretty solid indication of the direction of play so far.
Yeah, very true, George. The Dragons have certainly got the skates going under them this first period. They're adding a little bit of pressure to this Wild game plan I don't think they were expecting. It's going to be interesting to see how the remaining 2 periods play out.
Now Armstrong looking for Offord sorry, that's Cooper at centre, but he's behind him. And now Furnival plays one up to Keating and Parsons across the zone. Parsons centred for Keating, centred for Parsons, but it didn't get that far. And now this is Jackson, the Wild defenceman, up to Moore, as this Wild third line, I think, of Cooper, Armstrong and Moore go to work, get the puck in the Dragons zone, battle it back from Wainwright, but it's poked loose by Keating, and now Mike Moore goes back. Yeah,
Mike Moore is one of those guys, you've got to be careful with him, giving him room, because of his size as well. He likes to jam up right in front of that net and cause the netminders all sorts of problems.
And now Hajek is on and moving, and nice moves too, but he just one move too many, and then takes a shot from high up in the zone, which was easily blocked away by Jolly. And then they switch the sides of attack, and Hajek making a play behind the net, plays it out for Brittle. Brittle went high, and I'm not sure if that hit something, looked like it might have done. Now Chris Jones finally clears the zone for the Dragons, and the Wild get it back with Offord. Long pass up to centre for Hajek, that skipped off his skate and was gloved down by Chris Jones. Chris Jones now for the Dragons plays inside for Chappell. Chappell gets it under control and plays a low one in where Parry is in front of the Wild net. Parry couldn't get hold of it. Chris Jones couldn't get hold of his stick, which he's lost. He's now recovered it. Parry slows it down, plays it right the way to the top, and that was a shot through traffic there from Perks, which was played wide, and now things open up for the Wild with Hajek and Brittle. Oh, good defensive play by Chris Jones to make the pass difficult, and they just ran out of options there.
He shut that pass lane right off in time. Well played, Chris Jones. But that's the thing about Widnes, they've got the speed with Hajek and Brittle. You can't let him in round the back.
Yeah, how quickly
we know the Dragons have been done several times by that this season.
Now Marples plays up for Josh Humphreys, who's bodied by Jackson, and the Dragons go back and collect in their own zone. That's Marples across to Austin. Austin's cross ice for James Parsons to collect. James Parsons drops it for Austin. Austin shoots. They're doing well at shooting into traffic, the Dragons. But now the Wild with Bez Hughes on the attack, and Gilbert, and that's blocked. Good block there from, I think, Shaw. No, I beg your pardon, it's Perks. Perks backhand to Parsons. Parsons gains the zone. Drop to Humphreys. Humphreys' shot easily blocked by Jackson. But Wild don't clear the zone, and Humphreys can tap it back in deep for Parsons. Parsons thought about a wraparound on the backhand there, but now thought better of it and slowed things down. Great pass, great goal! Well, Parsons slowed it down on the backhand, played it cross ice for Austin to finish low glove side, and it's 2-1 Dragons.
Yeah, great pass. Again, the vision and awareness of James Parsons finds Austin, who's only got to put an easy tap in. And the Dragons again pull away late into this first period. It's now Dragons 2, Wild 1.
Well, just over 4.5 minutes to play in this period. The restart, which looked for a second like it hadn't happened. No, it hasn't happened.
Assisted by number 5, James Parsons. Time of the goal, 15-21.
And it looks like we're just going to reset for face-off there.
92 from 5 at 15-21.
The league champions, again, on the back foot. It's going to be interesting to see how they're able to deal with this now.
Now it's Mike Mauer and Shaw contesting the face-off. Mauer has won it for the Wild, where Fay plays cross ice to Offord, his defensive partner. Back to Fay, but that's intercepted by Shaw. Shaw looking lively, driving wide. A stick check by Fay dispossessed him, and now Fay tries to bring up, but he's checked by Furnival, and eventually a loose puck pops up at neutral ice for Fay to carry over. Fay fires a long shot in, which is gloved calmly by Jolly, and the face-off will be in the Dragon zone.
And just noticing there, George, it looks like there's been a change up in the lines for the Dragons as well. Notice there that first line was out and Parsons wasn't there. It looks like Shaw was taking the slot. That could be due to the fact that so far he was on the game sheet, but we haven't seen Mark Lovelights.
No. Is he on the bench?
He is. He's on the bench. Early reports where he was suffering an injury.
We've got a slashing call here. Who's it going against? Oh, it's going against Matt Wainwright. So with just under 4 minutes to play in the first period, the Dragons will have to kill a penalty. This is the second time they've been short-handed, but last time they were short-handed, the Wild took a penalty of their own. So let's see how this Wild power play shapes up. It's going to be Brittle, Barron and Hajek, their first line, with Offord and Fay on defence. And Fay played a slow one in from the point, which has missed the net and cleared the zone. Offord comes back to collect. Offord backhands to Fay. Fay doesn't like what he sees, and he circles back and now finds Hajek. Hajek puts the Jets on, goes backhand, tried to cut inside for a short play, but that was Don Jolly was ready there.
Oh, good clearance away, great defensive play there.
Chris Jones gets it all the way back for Wilson. Oh, miscommunication here, and Parsons. Well, yeah, miscommunication between, I think it was Offord and Wilson, that James Parsons nearly capitalised on. And now Brittle from an angle, shot high. I think that hit the post.
Great shot there.
Or possibly the side of the net.
Jolly under pressure now. Minute of this power play gone.
This is Brittle up to Offord. Offord's shot wasn't really a clean one, and it was sticked aside by Jolly. And now Hajek battling Furnival in the corner. Hajek evades Furnival, cuts inside on the forehand, and the referee did a great job of cutting him down there.
Yeah, Mr. Susters, the extra defensive man there for the Dragons.
Superb. Back it goes, the length of the ice. Wild change. Fay has to put a quick move on to try and evade Shaw, who's a good little forechecker. And
Shaw's going the box.
I'm not sure what's happening here. Shaw's going to the box. So 5-on-3. It looked a bit like the ref was giving penalties to both. He was giving penalties to both.
Yeah, and Faye's got in the box as well.
I don't really see why he needed to give a penalty to either of them, let alone both of them, but perhaps he saw something that we didn't.
Well, there was 26 seconds remaining on that first penalty. This will be interesting to see what the call is. 17:37 gone in this first period.
Dragons penalty number 15, James Shaw. 2-minute minor penalty for tripping.
So there's four on four on the ice, but I don't think there should be, because the Dragons still should. Oh no, it shows 4 on 5. So they're coincidental penalties. The fifth man's come out for the Wild, and now Dragons have still got 24 seconds to kill on the penalty to Wainwright.
2-minute minor penalty for tripping.
Offered to Jackson. Jackson back to Offord, but it's ahead of him. And it's in the Dragon zone, but they just managed to clear the zone. And now Furnival has collected a loose puck, and he's against Jackson, but he just couldn't. He just lost the puck on his dangle. Good solid body there by Ryan Jones on Bullock. Bullock recovered the puck, and Bullock's just bodied Perks. Yeah, Bullock's well named. He really is. He's a strong animal when he wants to be.
Yeah, Danny Bullock, we've seen him on the show a few times. He certainly likes to drop him as well if he gets agitated enough.
Former Flintshire Freeze, I believe, if your memory goes back that far. Now Kemp, no, I beg your pardon, this is Moore on the backhand, and he's lined up by Jones, but he rode the check well, and it's getting feisty out there, which is the way we like it.
Yeah, Gary will be slacking his gums together for this one.
Bullock digging away, and the puck comes loose. Ryan Jones backhands it up to Keating. Keating does enough to get the puck to centre, where Jackson will go all the way back to Offord, playing safety right back there. Offord to Hajek.
Back to 5 on 5.
They build from deep, yeah. Dragons killed the penalty. Hajek, not sure quite what he's doing there. A little move and then plays the puck in front of his own net. So don't do that in the playoffs, please.
And now going back the other way. Interesting.
Yeah. Jackson tried to body Perks, and Keating came away with it, but it was batted away from Keating. And now Parsons rides his man into the boards.
Yeah, good rub out there from Parsons.
We've got just under 30 seconds left of the period. Offord goes cross-ice. Oh, well, a very marginal call, but it looks like the Wild are going to be short-handed now. Too many men on the ice. You can see, I think it was it Jackson there who tried to jump in the air? Oh, sorry, if you're in the air, you're still on the ice, mate.
Well,
almost looked like he got off, I have to say, but
just over, I'd say, about 17 seconds of this period remain, and it immediately going to put the Dragons on the advantage. If they do manage to get the goal, it's a pull-away goal of a 2-goal advantage. If they don't, it does mean they're going to start the second period with a power play opportunity. Well, will the Dragons go in on a high?
Chappell takes the draw for the Dragons. It comes to Austin. Top shelf finish, Gavin Austin. His second of the game. Straight off the face-off.
Well,
fantastic.
Certainly looks like the Dragons have been working on in the training with that one. That was a great set piece face-off win. Good draw straight to Austin. Austin released that quickly. It seems like he's found a weak spot on Wilson, and he's exploiting it. It's now Dragons 3, Wild 1.
15 seconds now remaining of 5-on-5 play. Wainwright across to Chris Jones, who takes a very long shot in, which is gloved by Wilson. And we're going to have a face-off with just 5 seconds in the Wild end. But 5 seconds was enough for them on the power play. Will it be enough here? Can they grab another before the hooter? Shaw, Parry and Furnival out for the Dragons. Shaw hits the puck forward, and I think that will do it for the period.
Well, there's a buzzer. Widnes here with a game plan, but so far not able to execute it. The Dragons looking to upset the party. So far, we go into the end of this first period. Dragons 3, Wild 1. You can catch all the action and join us right after this short break.
Dunamis Sportswear, sponsors of Drop the Puck.
Here we go at the draw for the second period. With the Dragons enjoying a 3-1 first period lead over the Widnes Wild. And Parsons has won the face-off for the Dragons. And they come away with Wainwright, who tips it up to Parsons. The Wild collect with Fay. Plays back to Brittle. Brittle to Fay. Long stretch pass up to Barron. Barron's got Hajek. He plays the Hajek. Will Hajek pass? No, Hajek shot, and he shot very wide. Would have been great return pass there. You would have thought Barron would have finished that. Now it's out in front for Barron, and he will finish. And it's 3-2 now as the Wild strike early in this second period.
Yeah, you can see it there. Great set of play again from the Wild. But it's Barron who picks that puck up, skates in, picks his slot, and releases that puck past Jolly. Brings them back within a goal within 30 odd seconds of this beginning of the period. So it's now Dragons 3, Wild 2.
Yeah, the Dragons need to wake up because he's a dangerous player to be left unattended in that kind of position. So sloppy error to open the period for the Dragons, but the game gets closer. Bez Hughes knocks it back to Kemp and is then bodied by Jones as the puck goes almost makes it all the way through to Jolly, the Dragons goaltender, who was waiting for it. And the Dragons now have got it up to Chappell, but Chappell's bodied by Bez Hughes, and Kemp swings one in long on Jolly. And Jolly didn't freeze it, he gave it up. And the Dragons lost control of the puck in transition, and now the Wild come back, and Bullock has just picked up a fairly loose puck and a low shot with a rebound out. They've scored, have they?
Yeah, it is.
It's levelled. That was Bez Hughes after a shot from Bullock, and we are...
We're waiting there because it looks like Jolly threw that puck away.
Nope. False alarm.
So the goal's not been given. Still 3-2, but early warning signs for the Dragons.
Dangerous start here from the Wild. The game might not mean much to them in terms of league standings or anything like that, but they almost had a fantastic chance there for Cooper, but they almost certainly will want to show what they're made of as they prepare for their playoff push.
Yeah, any momentum they can gain, they can roll into, obviously, the playoff. Dragons at home here at D-side against Widnes this week. The return leg next week at Widnes, where the Wild will receive the presentation of the league trophy as well. But as you quite rightly said, George, this is all just practice for the playoffs.
Offered for the Wild, plays it up to centre for Mauer, but it was loose. And Ryan Jones managed to get it as Shaw comes away. There's a lot of chopping and hacking going on out there. Shaw's pass was behind Chappell in front of the Wild net. And Parry now driving behind the net wide. Plays it up to the point where Ryan Jones shoots a low one that took a deflection. Armstrong will collect and the Wild will come away. He's got Cooper up ahead of him, but he chooses to drop it to Cooper once he's gained the zone himself, and Cooper holds the puck up long enough for Mauer to take a shot that was blocked by Marples for the Dragons.
Score by number 7, Ollie Barron. First assist, 72, Jakub Hacek. Second assist, number 24, Stuart Brittle. Time of the goal, 20:31.
You just hear there the goal being announced.
Yeah, Barron and Hajek, a familiar combination. They've, between them, produced an awful lot of goals this year. Now Austin needs to be careful because Barron is onto him, but Austin has managed to get the puck up to Chappell. Hajek prizes it loose from Chappell, and the Wild go back to collect in their own zone. Jackson up the middle. It was off the skate of Barron and comes loose again. Jackson protects the puck against Parsons. Once again, the puck goes back into the Wild zone. And this is Barron goes cross ice to Hadjic, but it was out of his reach, and Wainwright controls the puck deftly, settles it down, and tips it into the corner for Humphreys and Parsons to forecheck. But the puck evades them, and here come the Wild. Stretch pass is up to Brittle. Brittle turning, looking, waiting. He's got Barron dangerously over on the far side, but he couldn't get the pass through, and now the Dragons mount an attack of their own with Parsons, who goes cross ice, but the pass is shoulder height, not controllable for Humphreys. But Humphreys has managed to forecheck the puck just to delay the Wild getting the puck out of their zone, which they eventually do, but without control. Now, Wainwright's reversed it to Brittle, and Brittle's got space. He's got Hadjic on this wing, but he chooses to go back behind the net, where Wainwright drives him wide. Now, there's a lot of ice open on this side of the rink here. The Dragons got to be careful. They're drifting. Gilbert lost control of the puck, and then Hadjic has now regained control for the Wild. Playing with the puck at the top of the zone, gets it into the corner, plays it to Gilbert, but Gilbert lost it, and it goes all the way through for Keating. Keating tried to backhand it out of the zone, but Offord has found Gilbert. Gilbert, low shot, kicked away up into the netting by Jolly, and we're going to have a whistle here and a face-off in the Dragons zone.
Well, a lot of pressure coming from Widnes now. Good 2 minutes there, stuck and camped out in that Dragons defensive zone, but Dragons were able to clear it out. And with two teams that know each other so very well, George, you expect buttons to start being pushed, like these penalty monsters stepping into the game now, making sure that each team has a harder game by keeping those guys off the ice. Will we see that come to fruition?
Now it's Fay turning in his own zone for the Wild. Changes direction to Offord, who manages to get it out, but Shaw intercepts at the top of the zone, and his quick shot was blocked. Now Bullock chops one to centre ice for Gilbert, but Ryan Jones is composed and manages to knock the puck back into the Widnes zone. Widnes showing more control perhaps in the early stages of this period than they had at any point in the first. And Offord tried a lofted pass, but which was intercepted. And now the Dragons have it with Parry, and the shot from Parry swallowed up by Wilson just as Perks, or Shaw, I beg your pardon, arrives at the net. A little bit of a chance there for the Dragons.
Yeah, you know, you're saying they're well controlled by Widnes, and the minute you say that, commentators care.
Yeah,
pick off the puck up to the Dragons. But the Dragons don't want to suffer about a second period syndrome here. They were off to a good start in the first. They need to keep that flow going into this second, but has that goal, that early goal, and wiped off one, knocked the flow and the confidence out the Dragons.
Now Parsons forechecking on Armstrong forechecking on Chris Jones, but he didn't get hold of him. Chris Jones has just played a long pass up to Parsons for the Dragons. Parsons goes in the corner against Kemp. Kemp shoves Parsons to the ice. We've got a call here, and the Dragons are going to have a power play. Dom Jolly's gone to the bench, and we are going to have a 2-minute power play, I believe. It's a roughing call against Lee Kemp for the Wild.
Well, Kemp, one of our penalty monsters, as Gary very much pointed out there in the introduction. So far, 56 minutes this season to his name, although you take a look at that in reflection to some of the numbers that D-side have been putting up this season, and you've got the likes there of Furnival on 102 minutes, Jones on 95, and obviously Alex Parry there adding earlier on to it. But this is one of those games where discipline will be key again, keeping those guys on the ice.
Dragons already scored a power play goal. That was Gavin Austin in the first.
Wild penalty, number 15, Lee Kemp. 2-minute round of penalty for roughing. Time of the call, 25:53.
Furnival's just taken a shot that was blocked by Fay. And a knockout front comes to Barron now. The Dragons have scored on the power play, but Widnes have also scored short-handed, and there's a long shot from Barron, which is sticked away by Jolly. Jones turning, finds Wainwright. He's in his own zone. He's got a bit of time. Plays it back to Ryan Jones in the Dragon zone. It was just fluffed his pass there, and Hajek has been able to recover and stick one away. And now Hajek was hit low by Ryan Jones, and as soon as they're on the power play, they're off the power play.
That was a late call there on Jones.
Yeah, a lot of agitation from the Wild bench there. You don't want to see one of their top scorers getting knee-on-knee hit in what to them is really a nothing game.
And you can see Mr. Susters there giving it the knee call. So Jones heads the box for 2 minutes as we get ourselves 4-on-4 hockey for the next 1 minute and 11 seconds. Jones just topping up his total there so far, Ryan Jones this season, with 46 minutes. And the penalty monster's now creeping through.
So at 4-on-4, Wainwright carries through the middle for the Dragons, goes on the backhand, drives wide on Bez Hughes, but Bez Hughes, good, strong body position to recover the puck, tries to clear the zone, only gets it up as far as Chris Jones, and now Shaw lost his edge as he was cutting inside for the Dragons, and Gilbert comes back for the Wild. In their own zone, the Wild, big hit there, couldn't quite see who it was. Is that Shaw putting the body about? And now Perks chases down a puck that's gone across the zone, and Parry is bodied Hughes to the ice, and now looks at the pass for Shaw. Wilson's out of his net, but the danger has evaporated as now Brittle brings it up. Nice move, plays up to Hajek, slows, finds Brittle stepping in from the half boards. He found Jackson. Jackson's got time. Good save, Jolly. And the rebound comes to Parry, who finds Parsons with a lot of open ice. Parsons stepping in, low shot. Good save, Wilson. Saves at either end here. Exciting stuff.
3, 2, 1. Penalty expires on the Wild.
Wild now on the power play. Billy Perks, a long shot, wide. And Kemp comes up for the Wild with the extra man now. Cuts inside, low shot wide of the net.
Wild back to full strength.
All the way to Bullock. His long shot is blocked, and now Jackson another chance. Yes, Jackson played it to the side of the net for Kemp. Perfect redirection. Good play, and it's level at 3-all. Power play goal for the Wild.
Yeah, great play there. You can see the defensemen of the Dragons completely lose where the puck is. Turn round, but too late. Puck's laid off for Kemp, who just sees all that open net Jolly's give him, slots it away. We're back, tied game at 3 apiece with 8:15 gone in the second period. Dragons 3, Wild 3.
So Widnes third line out against this Dragons line of Shaw, Furnival and Keating. And it's Furnival who gets Keating at centre to Shaw. Shaw on the backhand, battling away. Puck up to Ryan Jones at defence for the Dragons, but now the Wild have collected it, but Armstrong ran into trouble and the puck is loose once again. Now Furnival turning, shoots. Blocked by Fay, still loose. Now Fay's got it and should clear the zone for the Wild. Only gets it into the Dragons zone where Marple, who is an acquisition from Sutton, he's hammered.
That's a big hit.
Hammered by Mauer. And now back with Armstrong. The Wild regroup. Offered, long one, very loose. Is that going to be an icing call? Should be. It's coming all the way back to the Widnes zone. Yeah, crushing hit there.
I was going to say, let's go back and see that again on the replay. Marple's caught with his head down looking at that puck, and rule 101 of hockey, George, keep your head on a swivel. Mauer sees the opportunity, absolutely steamrolls him. Well, Marple's bounces back up and carries
straight
on.
up and back at it. And this Widnes line of Mauer, Armstrong and Cooper still out now. There's Chappell, Parry and Parsons for the Dragons, who currently have a puck with Wainwright behind his own net. Plays up to Chappell. Chappell controls with his skate. Goes back to safety behind his own net. Didn't have a good pass on, and it's gone loose all the way back behind the Widnes goal for an icing call.
Well, great stuff from Widnes, getting themselves back in the fight in this second period. Are they starting to show why they're champions of this Laidler conference? Or are the Dragons letting them in? Question still to be asked, as we are currently 9 minutes 34 into the second period.
Oh, shot from Barron, gloved there by Jolly.
But it's going to be interesting to see now, George. It's a level playing field. It's still anybody's game. Who wants it more?
Parsons and Brittle on the dot. And when the dust has settled, the Dragons come away with it, with Chris Jones, who backhands across to Parry. Parry takes a shot from the top of the zone, which is sticked away by Wilson up into the netting. So there'll be a face-off now in the Wild zone.
Yeah, some great hockey awareness there from Jones, who just had to slam on and cut his edge inside to keep himself parallel with that line. Avoid the offside call and allow Parry to get that shot off.
Parsons been thrown out of the face-off dot here, a little too eager, and so Alex Parry steps in, but the Wild win that face-off and try a long one. There's a set play there from Widnes with Hajek bursting up the win on the face-off win in their own zone. And now Parry has got it behind the Wild net, and he's looking for Parsons, who wasn't quite open, but Wainwright is, and Wainwright missed the net. I think he might just have had his stick checked there. Didn't get much on it. Now Hajek is breaking away against Wainwright. Wainwright calmly controls, goes into the backhand. He's got Parry and Parsons with him. Can he find Parsons? No, that was blocked by Brittle, I think. And now up to the top of the zone for Chris Jones to take a hard shot. Oh. Blocked by Wilson.
Wainwright getting a few shoves there for putting the stick in afterwards, but Matt Wainwright, obviously Gary and myself spoke about him in the introduction there, George. He's one of these guys that's been with the Dragons for a while. Despite his size, which makes him a great defenseman, the guy can move his legs and has got silky smooth stick hands. Yeah. And he takes people off guard, and it's great to see him when he charges up there. Good effort.
Yep, 29 assists on the season, which tells you that's fantastic numbers for a defenseman. Now Gilbert is looking for Hughes for the Wild, as the Wild with speed in the zone, and he's hammered by Jones. Fantastic hit by Jones on Bez Hughes, just rode him out of the play as he looked to centre that puck. And now Perks bringing through with speed for the Dragons. Perks centres, and it slipped past everyone. And shot up from the point from Ryan Jones, sailed slowly over the Wild net, and the Wild now come away with Fay. Fay's found Bullock. Bullock driving wide. Good stick check by Perks. Came to centre to Gilbert, but he couldn't control, and now Bullock walks it up the half-boards, backhands it down low for Gilbert. Gilbert will look for Bullock again, surely. Out front to Bez Hughes, and I think it's off a skate and in. And the Wild are now in the lead. And
Jolly's?
Yeah.
We've got Jolly gone on Bullock there. Hughes was hit as well. Well, that's Perks. Perks and Fay. Are you going to drop them, boys? No?
Doesn't look like it.
Perks is being sent to bench.
There you go. And what's Don Jolly doing? He's not happy.
Jolly's been given minutes this season already. He's been quite fiery and feisty. But either way, it's the go-ahead goal for Widnes.
Jolly's been squirting his bottle at some of the Wild players. And he's now gesturing to Lee Kemp. I think he was trying to invite Kemp to fight him, which I don't think is a good choice from the Dragons' perspective.
I wouldn't want to go against Lee Kemp myself.
I'm not sure how quickly Matty Compton can get the kit on, but...
well, yeah, Compton, the backup netminder for the Dragons tonight.
Yeah.
Whereas
not kitted up though.
No,
so the Dragons have not got a dressed reserve goalie.
Spriggs is the kitted up goalie for the Wild at the moment, back up, but he's not kitted up as we would regularly see him. He's minus the pucker head tonight.
Yeah. Now,
as we can see now, we've got
both teams sent to the benches, and what's going to happen?
We've got Brittle and Parsons, and dare I say, George, I'm having flashbacks to that Wild Dragons game a few seasons back.
Yeah.
where I believe it was Bryn Roberts left the ice to come in on a challenge and caused Scott McKenzie, the Wild player at the time, to leave off the ice with the team. I don't think we'll see any teams leaving today, but we're certainly getting that aggressiveness, and it's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out.
Yeah, there's a conversation here between Susters, the ref, and the two captains. So
far, though, as you can see there by the scoreboard, that as it currently stands, it's still 3-3. The goal hasn't been given, so we'll await the official verdict there from Mr. Susters to see if this stands.
Well, the ref was clearly signalling a goal.
The light went on.
But they're now in discussion, possibly about whether it was kicked in or not.
So
Simon Offord and James Parsons waiting patiently, making a bit of small talk. What's for tea?
I don't think that's what they're talking about, George. There are many things, but that is not one. As we flick back, when you see the replay there, puck comes out in front, there's a flurry, and puck ends up the back of the net, but immediately it looked like it was Perks that took umbrage to the first and starts the whole thing off. Then Jolly gets involved as well.
Yeah, one of the Wild players, I'm not entirely sure who it was stood right in the crease, right in Jolly's face, and he gave him a shove as he stood. And then from there, Jolly seemed keen to fight anyone and was squirting some of the Wild players with his bottle. So if that's been seen, you would think almost certainly he's going to get a penalty. But
it's going to be interesting to see.
The current discussion looks to be about paperwork down at the bench.
And you can see the Wild ones that have travelled tonight here, the short trip to D-side. And that's the thing about Widnes, they always carry a good fan base with them, and they're bringing the noise here in the den tonight as the Dragons give them just as good.
Well, it looks like a decision's been reached. The face-off is coming to centre by the looks of things, so we do have a goal. And there's a slashing call. Did I see Offord motion to the Widnes bench that there's a slashing call against one of their players, possibly? No. No one going to the bench from either team, as far as I can see. No, beg your pardon. Charles Humphreys is going to the bench for the Dragons, so that presumably he's sitting minutes there for Jolly.
Humphreys taking the bench seat there for a little bit. He's going to ride the pine.
I would imagine that Jolly's been given an unsportsmanlike penalty, possibly.
That would not surprise me.
So
there's
we've got
a goal on the board.
Yeah, a little over 8 minutes left in this second period, and for the first time in the game, the Wild have the lead. Not only do they have the lead, but they also now have a 2-minute power play. So Dragons all of a sudden on the back foot.
Time of the goal, 31-22.
And Hughes credited with that goal.
Number 29, Dom Jolly.
Yeah, and there it is.
Also timed at 31-22.
And Jolly gets it for slashing.
Okay. Hajek now driving wide for the Wild on their power play as they look to extend this lead, and he drops back for Brittle. Brittle's got time and space. Oh, and a second shot from Barron just trickled wide.
But a netminder look there for Jolly.
And now out in front for Hajek, and that was loose. Wainwright tried to clear, but it hit a stick of Furnival. Now Furnival gets it to Parsons, and the Dragons do have it loose. Parsons flips one in to the Wild zone. That's collected by Fay, who drops it for Barron. Barron coming up, passes up to centre to Brittle. Brittle looking to drive between Jones and Parsons, but that breaks down, and instead he ends up playing it into the corner for Hajek. Hajek cutting inside. Didn't fancy passing up to the point, but he does now, and he finds Fay. And Fay up to the point for Offord. Offord back to Hajek. Hajek stick handles inside. Oh, and his pass was loose just ahead of Offord, and they nearly... Oh, they have lost the zone now. Offord backhands to Fay, and they look to get the pack established. Bodied down Fay by Chris Jones there, which allows the Dragons to clear the zone. We've got 30 seconds left on this penalty. Offord turns, waits. finds Gilbert at the blue line. Gilbert back to Hajek. Hajek onto his backhand, comes in close. Good poke check by Jolly.
Blown down there.
I think the net, did the net tip?
Yeah, net's off its moorings.
13 seconds remaining.
And so far the Dragons weathering this little bout of pressure once more from the Wild, trying to defend that 1-goal lead. 13:09 into the second period, so Wild at the halfway point of the game. Who's got more in the tank? Who's got more to give? It's going to be interesting.
Well, Gilbert won the face-off for the Wild as the final few seconds of their power play tick away. Gilbert knocks it back down low for Bez Hughes. Knocked up to the point for Kemp, and Kemp, his low shot, sticked away by Jolly. And now Dragons have got it up at centre with Humphreys, who's just come off the bench.
And in fact, Dragons back 5 skaters, so 5-on-5 once more.
Now Humphreys and Shaw, and that's offside. And Kemp shoved his man to the ice, but there's no call there. So we've got just over 6 minutes remaining, with the Widnes Wild, the visitors, a goal up here against the D-side Dragons. Shaw and Moore on the draw for D-side and Widnes respectively. And a long pass by Ryan Jones for the Dragons, finds Parry, and Parry stepped inside of Jackson. Jackson tripped him. And this next power play will be the Dragons.
Jolly best there to the bench.
Parry takes his time as they look to get the 6th skater out. Jones is then bodied by Moore, but it's up at centre for Parsons. And now Marples. Marples needs to get it up to the point so that the Dragons can retain possession. They haven't, but no, they have retained possession. Widnes still yet to get a touch. Ref's arm probably getting a bit tired by now. But finally he gets a chance to put it down.
Wow.
As Kemp touches up. And Jackson goes to the bench for a trip on Parry. And the Dragons look for a way to get back level.
So, George, how crucial now is this power play going to be for the Dragons? How key are the special teams?
Well, we've had quite a few goals, haven't we? Power play, both sides. I think most of the game has been played with special teams. And it doesn't look like that's going to change, so we'll see. Wainwright across for Keating, but it was behind him. And now Jones goes back and collects for the Dragons. Goes right the way across the zone to Wainwright, who plays a soft one down to the half-boards for Furnival. Furnival banks it back for Wainwright. Wainwright goes across the zone, but that just escaped Chris Jones. Chris Jones rings it all the way around for Barron. And now Barron finds Hajek at centre ice, and Hajek has got a one-on-one with Parsons. He cuts inside and plays a low shot. Good save, Jolly. Well, the danger, of course, is how quick Widnes come back at you with Hajek and Barron, as they did in the first period for their first goal. And here's another one, and it's Hajek up to Barron at centre. It's flipping on Hajek, but Hajek, great move, great save, Jolly. Oh, and the second the rebound is finished by Barron, and just as we say how dangerous they can be short-handed, their second short-handed goal of the game gives them a 2-goal lead. It's now 5-3 to Widnes Wild.
Well, Barron made that count there. Great play and vision. Saw that pass to Hajek high. He uses his pace, tries to go around Jolly. Jolly, great sprawl on the floor, shut that shot off. Unfortunately, the rebound just fell on the platter there for Barron. It's now Wild 5, Dragons 3.
Bez Hughes now is pushed to the ice by Shaw, and the Dragons have an opportunity. Shaw turning, shoots, saved by Wilson.
Time of the goal, 35-23.
And of course, still short-handed. The Wild have managed to get the puck right the way down to Jolly, the Dragons netminder. Plays it to Ryan Jones. Ryan Jones lifts a pass, but now Gilbert. Oh, Gilbert tried to get on the inside of Jones. Jones was good. He followed the body, not the puck. And now Parry pushing wide, bodied by Brittle, to create room for Bez Hughes to knock round. And a long shot from Shaw ends up in the glove of Wilson. And 20 seconds on this Dragons power play before Jackson will return to the ice for the Wild.
It's interesting. Twice now the Dragons have been caught with that short-handed goal. Are they playing dangerous, George, by committing so many men forward?
Yeah, I think on that last one, obviously there was a one-on-one for Hajek, and then they need the second back checker to pick up the other guy. I mean, it's aggressive from Widnes. They'll throw two guys forward in a short-handed situation, but what have they got to lose? You know, they nothing really. So Parsons now tries to play one towards the net for the Dragons, but that's intercepted, and Moore plays a long cross ice pass for Bullock for the Wild, and that also is broken down, and now Fay must come back and collect. Forecheck by Keating, and the puck is popped loose.
Back to 5-on-5.
And we're back at 5-on-5. Austin sprawling on his stomach manages to stick the puck back to Ryan Jones, who finds Parsons. Parsons sends a long cross ice dump in, which has that been called icing? It looked like he was clearly over the red to me, but the camera never lies, so check your replay.
Exactly. You can see there. Great attempt to put it into the corner for Shaw to chase down. So face off in the Dragon zone with a 2-goal advantage now, Widnes.
And we've got a little over 3 minutes to play in this game that was... Oh, fantastic finish, Barron, straight off the face-off.
And there's his hat-trick goal. Well...
Top corner finish, blocker side on Jolly.
Quite clear, another set-piece practiced in training there.
Blink and you'll miss it. And it's now 6-3 to the Wild as they take control of this game.
Dragons suffering a 5-goal period. Certainly, second period syndrome has hit them hard. Ice slowly tilting in Widnes' favour. What are they going to have to do to get back in this fight in this third? Coming up, we've still got just under 3 minutes to play in the second.
Goal scored by number 7, Ollie Barron, assisted by number 24, Stuart Brittle.
Brittle plays one inside for Hajek. Hajek with speed turns, ice control to keep the puck away, but his centering pass didn't have anyone there, and Furnival plays up to Shaw. Shaw wheeling into the Wild zone, but he's being closed down all round. He has found, oh my word, that was out front for Furnival. Furnival fluffed his shot. Furnival gets another and played it wide. No, sorry, that was Parsons who played that one wide. Couple of good chances for the Dragons to get back in this. Hajek now again driving wide on this right wing onto his backhand. Goes all the way behind the net. Reverses, but he's bodied out of the way by Perks, and Chappell plays inside, plays up the middle to Furnival. Furnival turns. He's got two defensemen ahead of him, so he takes a long shot. That's gloved by Wilson, and just over 2 minutes left to play. The face-off will be in the Wild zone. And
something I have noticed, George, is every time the Dragons play out of their own zone and find that high man, they are entirely stranded up there by themselves. There is no support in that second wave. They're waiting for the shot to come in, but by then, there's 5 Wild players around them.
So yeah, Dragons needing perhaps to do a bit more to get men into the attack. Now, Keating will try and do just that as he plays it down into the corner for Chappell. Chappell looks around, finds Jones at the point. Jones, long shot, gloved by Wilson.
Good vision there from Luke Wilson, saw that all the way. And the likes of Austin and Jones from the blue, but they are dangerous, we've seen it before. Austin already 2 on the sheet tonight, adding to his other 6. Jones, 8 goals to his credit this season so far.
Gilbert's won this face-off for the Wild by tying up Chappell, and a loose puck here is being battled for, sticks all round, but Keating will be first to recover the loose change in the corner, and he cycles it for Chappell, but Chappell has lost it to Bullock. Bullock and Keating come together, and then a pass up to to Bez Hughes. Rolls loose, and Chappell for a moment had a shooting chance, but it just slipped away from him. So he plays it into the corner where Alex Parry playing out. Oh, long shot. It's bouncing up in the air. Chris Jones' long shot was flipping up in the air.
And a high stick
call will reset everything with a face-off at 5-on-5. And we now have 1 minute for the Dragons to try and close the gap, which currently stands at 3 goals.
Well, Wild certainly showing their credentials in this period as to why the Laidler champions.
Wild win the face-off, and up at centre where Moa couldn't quite control, and the Dragons now gain the zone with Austin. But Jackson dispossesses Austin, and the high puck is gloved into the Dragons bench by Wainwright, which will be a centre ice face-off, I think.
Well, 19:14 showing on the clock now. As you've got to ask, Gary Shaw had obviously gone in that locker room at the beginning of the game and set a game plan out. They seemed to execute it in that first period. Second period, though, it's gone completely different as a water bottle from the Dragons bench there takes a flight.
Bruce Morton, the Dragons kit manager there, returning the puck. Someone lend him a helmet. It seems to the puck seems to want to go in the Dragons bench at the moment. Here we go, Parsons and Moore, but Moore wins the face-off for the Wild, and it's up in his feet as he is bodied by Wainwright, and comes loose where Chris Jones must go in the corner to collect against Cooper. Chris Jones clears the zone, and it's up with Jackson, whose long pass up at centre, skipped by the man, but now Cooper centering for Armstrong. Loose
Great
puck
save by
Jolly. It was behind Jolly as Jolly was moving in the opposite direction, but he managed to stretch out and recover.
Well, 15 seconds remain in this second period. Dragons are just going to want to see this out as calmly as possible.
Yeah, we've seen several quick goals from face-offs in this game so far. One for each team. And can the Wild get one here? No, they can't, because they haven't won the face-off. But they have retained possession of the puck with Jackson, who puts it in the corner for Moore, who plays a funny little move and is then pinned to the board by Wainwright. And Shaw, his pass is loose up to Kemp. Kemp, the right side of the red line, flips it in, the buzzer goes, and what a reversal that period was. 5-goal period for the Wild, and they've turned a 2-goal deficit into a 3-goal lead.
Certainly. So the Wild and the Dragons only conceding 2 penalties each in that second period as tensions died down. But the Wild did their talking on the ice, pulling 5 goals away. How will the third period play out? You'll be able to find out by joining us after this short break.
Dunarmus Sportswear, sponsors of Drop the Puck.
So yeah, welcome back for this third period, and we've got the visiting Widnes Wild 3 goals to the good, 6-3 after a pretty emphatic second period comeback, 5 unanswered goals. But D-side started the stronger. They were 3-1 up after the first, and they'll be looking to play more that way than the way that they played in the second. And to start off with, they've got the puck in the Wild zone with Parsons turning away from Fay, and he works with Barron to dispossess Parsons, but then Wainwright flips it back in, and now Furnival is in the corner, and he hits a high one up in the air, which is snagged by Wilson.
Well, I think the key to this period, George, is to see exactly how the Dragons play. If they play anywhere near that first period, they stand a chance. But if Widnes don't allow them to and carry on piling the goals on, well, we know that first period was lulling the Dragons into a false sense of security.
Now Wainwright chips one back behind the net, where I think this is Shaw handles and plays back up to Wainwright, but it's skipped over his stick and he's closed down by Bullock. And Bullock backhands the puck to Gilbert, and we've got a 2-on-1 here, which Furnival is now back-checked nicely on Bez Hughes to eliminate that threat. And now Keating comes away. Keating one-hands one across into the Wild zone. Got to be careful handling it in this area. That's the wet area that delayed the start of this period. And, oof, my word, someone's took a spill there. I think that's Keating. Ryan Jones slaps it back behind the Wild net, where Kemp rides a hit from Shaw. Bez Hughes goes cross-ice straight back to Mikey Gilbert, who backhanded a soft one to the Dragons' blue line, but that was intercepted by Perks. And now Jackson looking to set things up again for the Wild with Gilbert at centre. Bullock kicks the puck up to himself, takes a low shot from the top of the circles. Oh no! That was an angle shot from Barron. That's Jolly had his stick at a bad angle and it's hit that and gone through his legs, and Dom Jolly hangs his head. That's a tough one to concede. There's now a 4-goal lead for the Wild on a very, very soft goal.
Yeah, you could see there as Barron put that puck across.
I beg your pardon, I think it was Armstrong, was it?
Armstrong?
I'm sorry, yeah.
Ken Armstrong with the goal, yeah. So Armstrong there pings that one across. The redirect, which we have seen before the season already, and it just creeps between Jolly. Allows the Wild another goal.
Yeah, dispiriting start to the period for the Dragons. They need to keep positive if they're going to compete in this period now. Offered for Wild up to Cooper. Cooper, big cross-ice pass that was far, far, far ahead of Armstrong. And now Perks bringing the puck out for D-side. Perks gets it back, but stick check at centre sends him back and sends the direction of play back towards the D-side end, where Ryan Jones puts a move on his man and then tries to cut inside on a second. And then his clearing attempt is chopped down by Cooper. But Jones gets the puck again, and this time tries to swing it around in the opposite direction. That's cut out by Armstrong, battling with the puck against Shaw. Shaw comes away with it. Shaw tried to play ahead to parry, but that was cut out by Offord. And now the Wild regroup. This is Fay. Fay across to Offord. Oh, bad pass Offord up to Shaw. Oh, Shaw was stick checked there and getting a second go. But that was blocked by Wilson. And now Hajek turns on the Jets, flips one into the zone. Goes in the corner, recovers his own dump in. Is bodied away from the puck by Ryan Jones. And Ryan Jones flips the puck up to Austin. And the Dragons get enough time for a change, and out come Humphreys, Austin and Parsons. In the neutral zone, Brittle for Wild. To Jackson. Jackson stretch. Cross-ice pass for Hajek, but that was cut out by Marples. And Marples plays it back to Wainwright, who plays a quick pass up to Humphreys. Humphreys flips the puck in for Widnes to collect and regroup. Chris Jones getting the puck into the Widnes zone, but not for long. They clear. Only for Wainwright and Barron to battle each other. Wainwright comes out with the puck. They're flipping it across the zone for Parsons, who took a slap shot at a rolling puck. It flashed wide of Wilson's goal. And now Parsons at the top of the zone. Nice pass inside for Austin. Austin looking for a hat-trick. Remember, he had 6 goals coming into this game. But now Hajek for the Wild with time. Good save, Jolly.
Great save, Dom Jolly there, yeah. Straight down his throat.
He needs a good save, you know, to get his head up after the mistake early in the period. That was a good save. Hajek had time. Jolly kept his glove out.
So, 4 minutes 15 gone in this first period so far, and it's quite clear that so far the Wild are very much in control here, dictating how the game's going. Dragons are going to have to fight to get some control back here, or any of these 4 goals back.
Gilbert won the face-off for the Wild, and it was just out in front there, but cut off by Chappell. for the Dragons. Chappell tried a long pass up to Keating, but it had to go through Offord, and he cut that puck out and then recovered it once again for Mikey Gilbert. Mikey Gilbert backhanded it a pass for Bez Hughes, I beg your pardon. Hughes wasn't already. And the loose puck goes back into the Dragon zone. Now with Chappell up to Keating. Offord pinching on Keating. Prevents the exit. And now a long pass from Jones up to Furnival was cut out. And the Wild bring it back with Fay, whose cross-ice dump-in will be pressured by Gilbert. But he doesn't do enough to stop the Dragons from clearing the zone. And now the Dragons have got the puck and they gain the Widnes zone. Good shot, Wainwright, low glove side, hit the post and went into the corner. And now Keating's loose and he's got a bit of space. And he's played it inside for Parry. Parry shot snagged by Wilson. Flash of the leather. Wilson. That was a nice chance there. Keating timed his pass nicely to get it inside to Parry. Parry had time to get his head up and look, but Wilson agile with the leather.
Very much so. Wilson there doing well to get across post to post, get that in the glove. And it shows that the Dragons aren't down and out yet.
Now Shaw won that face-off. And a broken stick for Perks. Doesn't look pleased about that. And Parsons has got room here to shoot. Pad save and the rebound, gets his own rebound and scores. It's James Parsons. Gets the Dragons back to within 3.
So Parsons pulls another one back for himself tonight. It's certainly going to be interesting to see whether he can use this momentum now. It's still early in this third period. The Dragons still seeking 3 goals. It's now Widnes Wild 7, Dragons 4.
Well, we've got a line out of Shaw, Parry and Parsons as the Dragons chase this game. And Parry has put it in deep for Shaw to go against Fay. And Parry hits Barron and manages to recover the puck. Gets it back into the corner where Parry now goes against Fay. Ryan Jones pinching but didn't get the puck out, and now Barron finds Hajek. Jones is behind the play. Hajek shoots, save. Jolly. He's got it in there somewhere.
Jolly almost resorting to the classic Jolly technique of just hit the deck. It can't go in if it's underneath me. But he's having a good game now. Now he's got his head out of that place before from that silly little goal. George, how key is that as a netminder to get your head straight back in the game?
Oh, I think it's all psychological for netminders, isn't it? Keeping you cool.
Well, psychological psycho. You've got to be one or the other to want to stand between the pipes and let people slap rubber that hard at you.
Yeah. He made a good save off the face-off there, but in the ensuing play it looks like the Dragons have taken a roughing penalty, and is that Marples?
Appears so.
So they are going to be short-handed, and a fresh unit comes out for the Wild with Bullock, Gilbert and Bez Hughes. Kemp and Jackson on defence. Dragons penalty killers will be Furnival and Parsons, and Wainwright and Chris Jones on defence. Gilbert wins the draw, but he wins it so well it evaded Jackson, and the Wild need to go back and reorganise themselves.
Dragons number 52, Ben Marples.
Jackson makes some space for himself, and then a stretch pass all the way up to Bullock. Bullock loose. Oh yes, what a finish, and what a pass that was.
Well,
that was Jackson with the pass. Fantastic stretch pass right on the tape of Bullock at the blue line. Bullock 3 steps inside, and he had all the time in the world to get his head up and beat Jolly high blocker side.
Dare I say it was QB-esque as Jackson finds Bullock there, right on the money, allows him in. Great goal. But it edges the Wild back within 4 goals away. Now Wild 8, Dragons 4.
Power play score scored by number 10, Dan Bullock. assist, number 84, Tom Jackson. Second assist, number 15, Lee Kemp. Time of the goal, 46-33.
So, Dragons desperately trying to claw back something now late in this third period.
Oh, there's a chance for Furnival, and it ended up being a low shot on Wilson, but Wilson got the pad save, frozen the puck.
And it's pretty much a case of damage limitation now for the Dragons, as every opportunity to go forward, they've got to be cautious around that high man around the back.
Yeah.
Twice or three times now they've been caught on it tonight.
Nope, something, the referee's not happy with something on the face-off there, and once the puck has been recovered, we will have a face-off back in the Wild zone. Which we do, and Wainwright has it for the Dragons, and he snapped a high one straight into the glove of Wilson. And we'll have a repeat of the face-off.
Well, interesting. Dragons straight back down the other end with the pressure, and they get a goal.
So Chappell, well, the Dragons have managed to scrap for possession off the face-off, and now Barron up to Hadjic, and Hadjic has stepped inside of Wainwright and has got a little bit of room on an angle, but he fluffed his shot and allows Ryan Jones to clear the zone for the Dragons. It's all the way back to Offord up to centre for Hadjic. Hadjic looking inside there for Fay. And Fay and Chappell go hard into the boards. And a pass, an outlet pass, was almost cut off by Brittle, but Parry has recovered it now. Oh no, he hasn't. He's been stick checked by Barron, and everything breaks down, and the Wild come back and look to regroup. Coming up through the middle with Offord. Offord lifts one on the backhand, nearly goes in the open gate to the Dragons bench, but doesn't, and is now recovered by Perks. Perks gets his wheels moving with good speed up through the middle, coming across the defenseman, drops for Keating. Keating's shot blocked by Barron.
Good effort.
Good speed there from Billy Perks to generate a quality opportunity for the Dragons. And now Keating's got time at the top of the zone, and his shot floats in.
Wilson
now
there.
I'm not sure what happened there, because Austin was standing close to Wilson, and Wilson
there's going to be a penalty as Wilson
looked like he was being
bench.
held. So 6 men out for the Wild now, but loose and careful, Austin, because you could get an unsportsmanlike for that.
Well, we'll see.
Oh, he's going anyway, because it was penalty on him. So
Austin heads to the box, and 2 minutes shows on the board already. You don't need to give the Wild any more of an advantage. We've already seen that multiple times tonight, George. So will this be another point in the bag?
the Wild have got one power play goal to their name from this game. They look for their second now.
2-minute penalty for netminder interference. Time of the call, 48-32.
So goaltender interference is awarded to Austin.
This is Jackson, whose pass was not a good one. And Chris Jones is able to slap a long one down to Wilson. Wilson needs to hold that because Parsons is active and lively and forces a face-off in the Wild zone.
Parsons he's had an absolutely great season so far, James Parsons. Yeah, he's got, I just look at the sheet here, 36 goals, 28 assists to his name, and, well, I'll tell a lie, 37 goals. But it's...
Yeah, because he's got one tonight, the opening goal.
Two tonight.
Has he got two?
Two tonight.
Beg your pardon.
So two Austin, two Parsons. But you can't leave it to one man to bail your season out.
Wild penalty, number 1, Luke Wilson. 2-minute minor penalty for delay of the game. Penalty to be served by number 20, Berwin Hughes. Time of the call.
And as you can hear there from the...
Well, we're 4-on-4 here, aren't we?
Match announcement, yeah. So Wilson served a penalty for delay of game.
Yeah.
A little bit of 4-on-4 action.
Now Jones has knocked it all the way up to Marples. And Offord collects for the Wild, finds Jackson. Jackson crosses the D-side blue line, is bodied off the puck, but Brittle has recovered it. And it looks like... Oh, there's a shot there that flashed wide from Offord. And Jackson now goes cross-ice to Offord, who mishandles the pass a little and then plays one behind Hajek, which will allow Parry to get in and recover the puck for D-side. Parry skips past one checker and then gets support from, I think, Chappell down there, yeah. And then Parry comes out, but he's stick checked by Barron, and now Barron has got a clear run to net if he can get his legs moving. And the slap shot from Barron was wide.
So 10 seconds remaining on the penalty assessed to Austin.
Yeah, and then the Dragons are going to enjoy a brief power play. As Hajek now for the Wild cuts across the open goal, and he's been slashed on the hands, I think. And as soon as... Oh no, they're not, because it looks like Marples is heading back to the bench. So
Marples going in for...
Yeah, that was a slash on the hands of Hajek as he looked to shoot. So it's one of those, really, you in a position like that when Hajek could easily score, it's a risk worth taking. But it means that we're now going to have 26 seconds of 4-on-4 action, followed by a minute and 34 seconds of power play for the Wild. And at 4-on-4, the Dragons have got the puck all the way back down to Wilson, and Wilson has played it up to Fay. Fay turns away from Parsons.
Then Marples, 2-minute minor penalty for slashing. Time of the penalty, 50.
Widnes working that puck well and just bumping it straight into the Dragon zone as 3-2-1. Penalty expires, near back to full strength.
Jolly had a little bit of trouble there with handling the puck in the corner. But here comes Shaw with speed, driving wide on Fay. He got the puck past him, but he lost his angle for a shot. And now Shaw in the corner. Got two players bodying him, but keeps working. And the puck is now back behind the Widnes goal. As they enjoy the advantage now for another minute. Offord, long shot from centre, which Jolly gives a rebound on the save, but it's collected by Ryan Jones for the Dragons. And Ryan Jones lofts a soft one in for Furnival to apply pressure on Jackson. However, the Wild come away with the puck, and it's Bullock cross ice to Bez Hughes. Rides a hit from Parry and gets the puck in deep. Bullock rode a hit on his player and sent someone crashing to the ice. And now Wainwright and Gilbert go into the corner together. Bez Hughes comes down but misses the puck, and now Parry comes away, being shadowed by Kemp. Oh, well, Parry lost an edge, or did he get a stick under his skates there? I'm not sure. Wainwright behind the net for the Dragons. Taps one up to Ryan Jones. Low shot. That was blocked by Bullock and goes wide into the corner.
Good attempt through the traffic there.
Yeah, Brittle's clearing attempt did not clear, but Parry, handling the puck at the top of the zone, lost it, and that almost created...
And full strength back for the Dragons.
A breakaway. So 4 goals in it. Just over 7 minutes to play. And the Wild circling back in their own zone, looking to create an opportunity for their 9th. But they won't do it that way, because that cross-ice pass was blocked. And they have to go back and collect once again. And it's Jackson, this time he's outnumbered and bodied off the puck as Keating collects for the Dragons, but Brittle comes back and gets it safely away to Cooper. Cooper steps up quickly, and that's swept away from his possession by Chris Jones, and those two go into the corner, and Marwa found himself with the puck and is back to net, and a nice turn for a backhand shot that was saved by Jolly.
See, tensions are just starting to bubble under the surface again.
Chris Jones long shooting, glove down by Wilson. collected by Offord for the Wild in their own zone. Chips one off the boards, but that's shut down by Keating. Keating got a chance to get a centering puck, and it's a lovely feed for Gavin Austin's hat-trick. Great feed from Keating. Dragons back to within 3, and that's a hat-trick for Gavin Austin.
Yeah, great pass in there from Keating. Great vision and awareness to get that puck in. Butters it up. Austin's coming in with some pace. Austin puts it in the back of the net. Hat-trick for himself. Pulls it back to a 3-goal gap. It's now Widnes Wild 8, Dragons 5.
Well, the Wild win the face-off and get the puck back behind the Dragons' net, where Perks collects, changes the direction of play to Brittle. Brittle passing off to Hadjek. Hadjek got time. Hadjek put it back and centred it for Brittle and Barron to work for it, but Don Jolly, sprawling, made the save.
Well,
and then one of Jolly's own defencemen then fell on him.
And there seems to be a couple of little bit of handbags in afterwards as well.
His helmet's off and he's not happy, but I don't see what he can complain about, because that was his own player. No, he's laughing. He's happy.
They're both laughing now.
We are happy.
So 6 minutes remain in this game. 3 goals are achievable, but it's an uphill battle for the Dragons. Can they do it?
Brittle contesting the face-off with Shaw, and Brittle's won it and played a move and then went 5-hole on Jolly, and that's the 9th goal for the Wild, and a lovely little move.
You've got to think that's the nail in the coffin there, George.
That was that Brittle? Yeah, it was Brittle. Yeah, I think that is probably it. Superb little solo move, stepped inside, and slipped it gently through Don Jolly's 5-hole.
And we know what Brittle's ability is like. He's just shown it there. This has pretty much been a show from the second period onwards, a showcase of what the Wild are capable of. Pretty much a warning message going out to Hull and Telford.
Well, the fans here are applauding because they accidentally gave the goal to D-side on the scoreboard. But they've sorted that out now.
A D-side wish.
And it's 9-5 for the Wild. And a bit of space for D-side here as Keating passes wide for Parsons. Parsons turns onto his backhand, puts it up to the point for Marples. Marples knocks it back in low, where Keating goes to recover. He's being shadowed by Fay. Fay pins Keating. And then Cooper tries to recover the puck, and eventually it's Bez Hughes who clears the zone, goes all the way down. And we did have a hand raised for a second, but the icing, no whistle for icing, as the Dragons build from the back with Marples. Marples has lost his handle on that, and Bez Hughes tried to backhand one inside for Gilbert for the Wild, but that broke down too. And now Parry stepping forward, nice receive, and then a drag move, and his shot was blocked.
That very much the downfall of the Dragons tonight, though. The miscommunication, the silly little passes and mistakes that Widnes have been able to capitalise on.
Yeah.
Almost gifting the opportunities over.
Back with Keating now for the Dragons. Goes cross ice for Marples. Marples returns it to Jones. Jones waiting for space. He's got space for a shot. He shoots one in on Wilson, who gloves it and freezes it.
So with 5 minutes now remaining, you can see there on the scoreboard 9-5 in favour to the Wild, and 20 shots for the Wild up to that second period, only 19 for the Dragons. It's interesting.
So the Wild have come along with it from the face-off, and Armstrong, nope, it's a bit scrappy, and a loose puck goes back down into the Wild zone, where Cooper collects for them. But his clearing attempt only goes as far as Austin, and Austin gets another save out of Wilson. And a clearing attempt has been interrupted by Wainwright here for the Dragons, who now find Chappell shooting, and that was blocked by Jackson. And now Parry coming up the half boards, finding Jones on the point, but the puck skipped over his stick, so Armstrong and Cooper go to work attempting to apply a bit of pressure for the Wild, but it all breaks down and comes back, as it usually does, to Kemp. Kemp gets to centre, backhands a soft one all the way down for Chris Jones to play around the boards for D-side. And now Parsons in his own zone looking for a clean pass, cross-ice pass for Wainwright. Wainwright's got a bit of space here to put a move on Kemp, but Kemp was wise to that, and now Kemp clears the zone for Widnes. That will go for icing and come all the way back, as Widnes are denied the opportunity to change with just under 3 minutes remaining.
Yeah, so again the Dragons able to push out the zone, but the minute they do, they cough that puck up to the Wild, who turn it straight back over, drive it back down on Jolly, and they're squeezing the last little bit of hope out the Dragons, as this game has pretty much been put to bed.
Offered now for the Wild, backhands one all the way to centre ice, which was missed by Marples, and so Perks goes back and collects for the Dragons. And now Furnival backhands one to Keating. Keating looking for Parsons at centre, but that skipped over his stick. And Fay to Barron for the Wild. And a weak shot now. Keating's got a shot from an angle, and that was saved by Wilson. Keating bodies his man. It's out the centre for Hadjek. He finds Barron with Brittle going through the middle of the ice. And now Hadjek in the corner. He'll go right the way around and look for Fay up high, and Fay didn't get much on that shot. The puck has come back to Hadjek for the Wild. Now Hadjek to Fay again. This time Fay's got a bit more time, and that was deflected wide of the net. And another dangerous one across the face of the Dragons' net.
Into the final 2 minutes now of this game.
Yeah, and the Widnes Wild very much in control of this, clearly showing their
proving why they're top of the table.
Yeah, their championship credentials here. And favourites for the playoffs, do we think?
Well, they've got to fancy them. They are reigning playoff champions.
Yeah.
They're at the home barn. It's all, on paper, it's all Widnes. It's only up to Hull, Telford, and whoever it is, either Bradford or Sheffield, to upset that party.
But they've been run close here by a team who haven't had the most successful of seasons, so I think the Dragons will feel confident about parts of their performance tonight. And obviously they'll be looking forward to going back to Widnes for the final game of the season for both teams.
As we're into the final minute now, can the Dragons get a late consolation goal?
Jones to Jones. But that breaks down. And the Widnes fans making their voices heard here.
You've got to ask George, who's been your MVP for Widnes?
Well, a few we could pick really, but I would say that Barron is always just seems to be at the centre of everything good that happens to them.
And there's going to be a late call here.
That was Jackson and Chappell getting tangled up.
And it's going on Wainwright.
Seeing as Barron probably most usually gets selected, I'm going to go with Jackson. Best moment of the game, the stretch pass up on the stick of Bullock, a fantastic moment.
And Dragons, as the buzzer goes. So who would you fancy for the Dragons MVP, George?
And for the Dragons MVP, it's got to be Gavin Austin. Fantastic performance. Finished 3 chances. Had plenty of shots. So yeah, well done, Gavin Austin.
Wow. An outstanding performance and clinic put on by the Widnes Wild. They were slow starting, Or were they leading the Dragons into a false sense of security? Only Mark Gillingham at the bench would know that. But we can tell you now, it's been a great game of hockey. The return leg played a week from today, where the Wild will be presented with the league trophy. So, we've had a great game of hockey here. You've had Dragons coming out showing that they're still a force to be reckoned with, and that on any day they can take the game to them. You've had Widnes, the champions, showing, as you quite rightly said, their credentials.
Yeah, confident win overall for the Wild, although I have to say the Dragons gave them a scare in that first period. And I think it'll be another close game next week.
Well, we're going to head down between the locker rooms now and grab the reviews and the news and the views of some of the players and coaches. And that'll be right after this short break.
Dunarmus Sportswear, sponsors of Drop the Puck.
I'm with Gary Shaw, coach of the D-Side Dragons. Gary, we knew going into tonight that the game had no effect on the league table much, but it was a derby game. What were the plans coming into this, and what did it mean?
For us, we needed to compete during the game all the way, because it's a local derby and you want to get pride, you want to win as a pride. For the first period, we did that. We were really quick to the puck. All our battles were won in the zone. All our battles were won in the corners. And we took the game to them, and that was the game plan.
Well, you mentioned it there, that first period, 3-1, the Dragons came out on top, rocked the Wild a little bit. That, you know, a lot of people didn't have that down on paper. What was said in the locker room before you even hit the ice?
Just to go out and believe in your ability, and win your battles in the corners and keep the puck in the zone, and take your chances and move the puck quickly, and that's what we did. So.
Now, a number of times this season, the Dragons have been caught short in that second period. What needs to be turned around now for the Dragons to try and rectify this going into next season?
Next season, I think we need to add to our defence. Our defence is a little bit slow at the back, so if we can get some decent young players coming in, then that'll help the older guys, and the mature guys can help the juniors through. The likes of Billy today played really well. Again, he's come on leaps and bounds throughout the season, and that's a big thing for him.
Well, you mentioned there the youth. Obviously, you've had the likes of Billy step up through the academy. Dom, Jonah all came through the academy as well. You've also got the likes of Ryan Jones, Alex Parry, all young lads still quite in the prime. So you've got good building blocks here at the Dragons for a good team. Heading into next season now, what's the game plan? What are the Dragons going to look like?
I think we need to build on our youth and keep the experience. So if we can get some good youth players in, which I've got a few in mind, and see if they will come across and help out, then that'll help us massively in defence. And I think it's the defence in our zone that we're struggling with at the moment. We're not mobile enough, so we need to be a lot more mobile in the zone.
And the season as a whole, you know, finishing 7th in the league there, it's been a good season for the Dragons. You've nicked wins that people didn't have you down for. You've competed in games that people would have written you off for. How, in your eyes, has it gone?
For me, it's when they've done what I've asked and played their game. They've played really well, but they seem to switch off now and again. And once one or two switch off, that's the frustrating thing. It causes us problems when they switch off. It's like this evening's game. In the second period, we switched off again. 5 goals against, and that shouldn't have happened. So, and it is annoying, but we've got to get them more game savvy and more game awareness on the ice. So we can use video as well during that period now when we go into next year, and we can show them where they're going wrong, and that's what we can build on and help out.
Well, Gary, it's been a tough season for the Dragons, but it's been a good one. We've enjoyed having you here on the show, and from Drop the Puck to the Dragons, we wish you the best of luck for the next season, and hopefully we will catch you again soon.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good to see you.
And with Mark Gillingham, coach of the Widnes Wild. Mark, emphatic result there for you. Great momentum heading into this playoff run.
Yeah, good result in the end. I think we'd have preferred to start a little bit differently. First period wasn't great. We had to have some fairly sharp words at the end of the first just to liven back up. But we've come with 3 lines that haven't really played together all season because the guy's missing. So we knew it was going to be a bit of a settler in the first. But then we turned it on in the second, which is exactly what we needed to do. And we've ended up coming out with the result we wanted.
So you mentioned that second period there. The game completely turned on its head. 5 goals put past the netminder there, Dom Jolly. Mostly, I'm looking at my machine now, Ollie Barron. We mentioned him so many times in the show. The guy's commanding presence on the ice. As a coach, what's it like to know you've got the likes of Barron on the ice there, skating for you?
It's great. And it's not just been our first line this year. In previous years, it's been our first line that's done all the damage for us. And it's tended to be a league previous to the last 2 seasons where first lines have done all the damage and won titles. But this year, it's been our depth that's done it for us. Our second line scoring has been brilliant this year, and we've had contribution from third line as well as them doing the holding job. So it's not been a difficult season for me as a coach in determining who to put on the ice because everybody's been able to go out and do a job. So it's great to have those players who can notch nearly every week. But then we've also had guys who've really come through in the clutch and scored some big goals when you're not necessarily big goal scorers. That's been a real momentum shifter for us this season.
Now, already crowned the Laidler champions. Ceremony will take place next week at your own rink. What was the major turning point that you realised that you could actually do this? The silverware was yours.
I think it was the 17-game win streak we went on. We came out of a really tough result against Hull where we didn't perform. It's probably our poorest performance of the season with regards to what we set for ourselves, and we had a bit of a discussion like the one we had at the end of the first period tonight, at the end of the game. And instead of people dropping off, which you sometimes get, or people sort of kicking against the system, every single person bought in, and we went in a 17-game win streak, and we won some really tough games, a lot of one-goal games, a lot of games where we were taking it through to the third period, and it was a bit edgy, and we were really seeing games out in the third period and coming strong, and we looked like a team that was going to be able to do it. So yeah, I think when we were on that 17-game win streak and it looked like we could beat anybody whenever we wanted to, I think then we realised we had the quality to win this title.
Now, we will be covering the playoffs here at Widnes, at Planet Ice Widnes. It's going to be an action-packed weekend. What preparation now, after this next Dragons game, is going to need to be made for the guys to get themselves ready for post-season hockey?
We're going to carry on as we're doing as what we normally do. We've already started preparing. We've got another game as well before that. We've got to go down to Coventry and we've got to play the winners of the Southern League. So myself, Ollie and Matt Lloyd went down to Slough last night. We had a bit of a road trip last night down to watch the Slough Jets, because it looks like, if they win their last game of the season, they're going to be the winners of South too. So we went down to their rink and watched them play Oxford and see what kind of a game they put together. So we're preparing not just for the playoff games, but also for that national championship game. But in terms of what we're doing in training, we're not really going to change an awful much because, what we've done this season's worked for us.
Literally, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly, that's it. We've had sessions that have followed a pattern throughout the season, and it's done the job for us. We work on certain things on a fairly regular rotation, keep it fresh, just make sure that we're remembering what we need to do, and we've done it. So, we know those teams that we're playing in the playoffs are teams that we've already played this season, and we've finished ahead of them. So it's in our hands. We need to just perform as we have been doing and make sure that we get the job done then as well.
Well, like you say, we will be there covering all that playoff hockey, and you'll be able to catch that on BASN radio. But for now, Mark, we wish yourself and Widnes the best for the rest of the season and for post-season hockey, and hopefully we'll catch you again soon.
Hopefully we'll do. Thanks. Cheers, man.
Well, what a game, Ben.
Well, I wasn't expecting that, I'll be honest with you. The Dragons shocked me in that first period, but as I said on the commentary there, only Mark Gillingham knows whether it was a false sense of security that Widnes lulled them into, or, as he quite rightly said in his interview there, he went in and tore a strip off them, and that's when we got to see the championship Widnes Wild.
I must admit, I was kind of like, what are we seeing from Widnes here? They were down by a goal, wasn't it, in the first period? And I was thinking to myself, where's the Widnes we've been seeing all season?
Yeah, Dragons came out 3 great goals there, Parsons and Austin. And, although we got man of the match tonight, Gav Austin did more than you actually see on the ice there. That guy carried a lot of the defence tonight as well.
I think they missed Mark Lovell, I believe, and I know we picked up on it in the commentary, that he was warming up, and on our footage you probably see him warming up, and he was kitted up. Unfortunately, took an injury, and he very sparingly going to be used if needed. His experience was missed on the ice, I think, tonight.
Very much so. I totally agree with you. But on the flip side of the puck, Widnes had guys missing tonight. You know, experience. Talk about experience there. Ex-Dragons player Sean Dicknell, he wasn't icing tonight. The other import for Widnes, Novak, he wasn't icing tonight either. So, you know, it works both ways. But what we did see, though, was you saw physically the shifting through the gears that Widnes did. You saw them sit back, absorb the pressure, and again you saw them go straight to top gear and catch the Dragons round the back. And I don't know how many times I've said it this season, the Dragons knew they were getting caught with that high man and still didn't work in a game plan for it.
Well, an impressive result for the Widnes Wild, and it helps them in their preparations for the playoffs. But all to do again next week. The Dragons are going to be visitors to the Wild. Unfortunately, we won't be covering that one, but we will be at Widnes for the playoffs. And surely Widnes have got to fancy their chances in that.
Well, you think so. I said it in the commentary again. Home barn, you know, already reigning champions retaining that. Possibly on for the triple. So not just the league that have already clinched and the playoff finals, but then to possibly, you know, if it is Slough Jets they end up facing in that, you know, the Division 2 championship, they could do that as well. Going to be a great year for Widnes. Moving forward, okay, there's some, you know, speculation. Will they stay? Will they go? Nobody knows. We'll let that play out as it is. Personally, I hope they stay because I'd love to cover them again next season.
Well, yeah, certainly they've given us some exciting games. So the Dragons, and what will the Dragons take from tonight's result, Ben?
A learning curve, a learning experience, and as you know, Gary Shaw quite rightly said there, it's baby steps and building blocks now. You've got to build on what you've got. I think one of the things in the off-season they're going to need to concentrate on, number one, discipline. We said it in the show. I had a quick look at my sheet. 109 minutes for Parry, for Furnival, 50 odd minutes for Parry, 90 odd minutes for Jones. Some teams have accumulated that themselves, never mind a singular player.
Yeah, it's difficult to be productive on the ice if you've got players in the penalty box, and it has a detrimental effect on the team. But I'm sure the Dragons will learn a lot, especially the fact that what they've learned with the youth players, those young guys that have been coming through the ranks, it's going to bode them well for the future.
Very much so. You know, Gary again mentioned it in his interview there. Dragons are now going to go and build on youth. They've got to go back and have the season the Hawks have just had, the season that Bradford had in the past. It's all about development again. A great characteristic sign of that. Look where Nottingham Lions are now. They're always, you know, full of youth squad, and it's one of them. Can the Dragons do anything in the off-season? Can they make signings count? Can they make forward progression? Because it only takes one or two things to click, and I really reckon the Dragons could be fighting for a top 4 spot next season.
Well, as we've already mentioned, the playoffs are coming up. This is our last regular season game. We've enjoyed ourselves so much this year. Been a big learning curve for ourselves here at BASN. But you can catch all the action from these games, previous games, and the playoffs at either our BASN Radio on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, and Instagram. Go onto our website as well, basntv.com, and drop us a message, tell us what you thought of the season, what you think of what we've been doing, and what you'd like to see. But with that, I think it's time to draw a close into our playoffs.
Yeah, you know, we'd just like to say a big thanks first and foremost to friends and families of the show. Without them, it wouldn't be possible. Big thank you to Dynamis Sportswear, our sponsors for this season. To all the teams for hosting us, you know, welcoming us with open arms.
And the guys behind the scenes that a lot of people don't see, our camera crew, our production team, other guest presenters that have come in, the likes of George Perrett, Steve Bellows, who we'll see at the playoffs, many, many more. But most of all, thanks to the team and you, the viewers, for watching us, because it's been great. We've been Drop the Puck.